Hi there, and welcome to our second draft update for around the OrkneyBowl, and I'm joined again by Craig. And this week we actually have Everett, who's managed to get a bit of time off work and join us.
Good evening, Johnny.
How's it going, everybody?
What's going on? Pretty good. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure being
No
here.
problem. So before we get to any draft news,
Yeah.
there was a trade today, and Craig can talk us through it because it does actually involve Craig. There you go. So the Darlington Rams received 1808 from the Glen
honestly, it couldn't work out any.
Go on, you go.
It couldn't have worked out any better for me, to be in all honesty, because my pick was coming up. It was sitting at the 12:07 when Sam made the offer, and so I didn't know who I was taking. I didn't particularly fancy anyone that was coming up. In fact, who I was going to take is still sitting there at the moment, so I might get him at the 13:04 anyway. And it gives me a couple of picks at the end of the 13th and beginning of the 14th. So, I was more than happy to take it. And I was even more delighted when I seen a run of quarterbacks going right in front of me when I've already got my quarterback. So, honestly, I've moved up. I've got a couple of picks to move back a little bit, but I've given up a big run of quarterbacks that I had no interest in whatsoever.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that when it comes to draft. But yeah, there was a bit of a crazy run there. Like that will be the longest run of the season.
Absolutely teasing about it, I've got to say. Absolutely. Whether the chap that I'm after, it's a swing, it's a dart throw, don't get me wrong, but with what's going on at the moment, I think it's a fairly decent dart throw at this point, and I still kind of am looking for players that are going to be trying to push their way at the starting lineup. I'm not just looking for cover at the moment. I still need someone to be challenging for a starting role, because obviously I gave up my 8th and 9th.
But still, it's good getting too close together as well. So I'll get you maybe four picks and 2.
So you got 2 13s and 2 14s?
Yeah. 2 13s, 2 14s, yeah.
Oh man, that's
is that the 1308? No, it'd be the 1303?
1304. 1304. It's just coming up.
1311, 1402, 1409. Cool. Oh yeah, because Peter's on the clock, and hopefully if he picks, you get to pick live again.
Yeah, I won't be doing that. I tell you, can I tell you this? Well, I'll tell you the story when it gets onto it. But the 8 and 9, missing out on 8 and 9. Do you know I waited 3 days for a pick, and from the minute I picked 704, I had Ezekiel Elliott penciled in for the 10:04. Ezekiel Elliott was the pick. I watched so many players go from 7:09 right through 8, right through 9, and right in front at the 10:08, Ezekiel Elliott gets picked.
Man.
We've all had a bit of problem with that this year.
I didn't begin to describe it.
So we'll start in the East Conference like usual. We'll start off with the St Magnus division. They're rattling on. They're up to the 16.4.
Well, they're moving along.
Before we go any further, I'd like to say congratulations to Jack, who just announced in his home league that he's expecting another baby. And it's 2 days after the Super Bowl, so hopefully she won't be 2 days early.
Congratulations.
But yes.
At least it keeps him up for the games through the season next year.
Oh yeah. Obviously, can you make Jack when we were at Tottenham, remember?
Yes, I did. Yes, that's right. Yes.
Another Packers fan. So you won't have to worry about that because they'll not be in the Super Bowl, so that'll be all right. Sorry, Craig.
Yeah, so Packers fan as well, of course. Yeah, no, that's great news. But here we go now into the first league, and do you know what? I think the leagues are starting to pile on now. They are starting to get through. I do think by this time next week, all leagues should be finished, and that will be plenty of time and good timing. So that's good. But this one's well through now, isn't it? And for me, it's now getting to the important stage of the draft. The first 12 rounds, you're picking your starters. And yes, you need good starters, but they're all kind of decent at that point, Now you're starting to fill your bench. You are going to have starters who miss games through injury. You're going to have starters who miss games through bye weeks. And these are the rounds where championships are won and lost. They really are. Getting the right bench, getting the right players on the bench that are doing something that can come in and make a difference to your team. is where it's won and lost for me.
I can't believe Trevor Lawrence went that late. That's
That's
under
15.
Baxter and I were arguing that very, very late into the night last night. I am not a fan, I've got to say. I only see nothing but regression for Trevor Lawrence this year. I've got to say, I wouldn't be picking him anywhere near where he's going at the moment. He had the stage in the middle of last year where he just done absolutely nothing. He was terrible. And I know he finished the year a little bit better again. He came on to his game a bit again at the end, but he's lost Calvin Ridley. And I just don't see Jacksonville Jaguars getting any better than they were last year. Whereas I see the teams around them getting better, and that worries me for Trevor Lawrence.
I don't know. Brian Thomas is pretty good. Like, if he's half even brings 80% of what he was in LSU, he's gonna do just fine. Because they don't really. I can see him being better than Gabe Davis, and they still got Christian Kirk in the slot.
A lot of ifs there, though. There is a lot of ifs there. And Gabe Davis, he's a boomer bust week in, week out. That's.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's an upgrade for Jacksonville. I just don't see Jacksonville getting better. Is my problem. And I see the other teams around them getting better, and that's my problem with Lawrence. I see a little bit of regression this year for him and the team.
Did Christian Kirk not get injured last year and miss like the last 5 games or something like that? 5 or 6 games.
Well, that's when Lawrence came back into it again. The last few games, he was much better again. But I get that. He runs for a few yards as well. He runs in a few touchdowns. He'll do fine. He's just. I don't see him being. He was what, the 12th highest scoring quarterback last year. I don't see him being in the top 16 this year. I really don't.
No, not really.
It's my opinion, though. That's just my opinion. I see him regressing. I see the likes of Kyler Murray coming through, having a great season. I'm so big on Kyler Murray this year. Richardson, if he stays fit, will have a big year. He'll push his way into that. Caleb Williams will come in and probably be a top 16 scoring quarterback year one. He's certainly got the targets to do so. Lawrence just worries me that he's not going to be any better this year than he was last year.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. It'd be more of a more or less the same. It's not they didn't get better as opposed to the teams like the Texans got way better than they were last year.
Yeah. The Colts have got Richardson coming back. They went last year, struggling at the quarterback position, but they've got their guy back this year. And what we did see last year, I know it wasn't very much, but what we did see looked very good.
It did look good, yeah.
So I see
the only thing that happened, I think,
better.
Josh Downs got hurt today. I don't know how. I don't know how bad the injury. They put his leg in a hair cast. Yeah.
I think it's 2 months or a month. Month or 2 months is out. So,
but the good thing they drafted Donnie Mitchell, so they got another good rookie wide receiver there.
Yeah.
I think, see, when you're talking about Downs and stuff, what's he done? What has he honestly done to get the chat that he gets? I don't get it. I think you can fill that in with any wide receiver in the NFL wide receiver, and he's going to do just as good a job as Josh Downs is. So a Downs injury to me doesn't make hide nor hair difference to kind of how the Colts are going to go. A Richardson injury, yes. A Pittman injury, yes. But a Josh Downs injury, as you say, they've got Mitchell there. They have other wide receivers in behind that will do as good a job as Josh Downs has done in his career thus far, I would say.
Cool. So
that's just
who's your favourite looking team then? If you can see it.
I'm just scanning through and see what's going on. I love how late Benjamin Skull got Kyler Murray. What's that, 9-12?
Yeah.
He's also got Patrick Mahomes.
I see nothing but good things for Kyler Murray this year. I really do. I'm so big on him. I will have him in a lot of leagues because I'm I'm actually reaching for him now. I'm reaching. If you look back and see what he done, and before he got the injury, he was constant top 10 scoring quarterback. And when he came back last year, I think when he came back last year, he was top 10 QB, and I think he played 7 games, 8 games, and he was a top 10 QB in maybe 5 of them. I've seen nothing but, and then you add into that mix, you add in a bona fide star and Harrison. I just see nothing but good things for Kyler Murray this year.
Brown T's.
He's going to have the headache though, Greg.
Brown T's team looks sneaky good.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy to pick him up there. I mean I get not letting them through, but I'd be trading Patrick Mahomes if I were Benjamin Skull. I'm not going to lie. You could get something good for Patrick Mahomes. I'd be trading him out right now.
When Richardson gets injured after 4 games, you could always trade him with Brown T, and that would give him a good chance of winning the league.
Yeah, Brown T's team looks sneaky good. I like that. I like the whole Harrison. I think Waddle's gonna have a good season. A-Chain's gonna, as long as he doesn't pull the hamstring over and over, he'll be a beast. With Ayuk leaving, I could see Debo being, as long as Debo stays healthy as well. I really like Rashee Rice. I'm big on Rashee Rice. With Xavier Worthy there, I could see Rice taking into Kelsey's targets more because he doesn't stretch the field.
I'm worried about what his suspension's going to be.
I think it'll be like Kamara. It'll be like a year later. Like he'll probably be suspended once everything clears out and they get all the detail. I think it'll affect him next season.
Yeah, when's the court case? Is the court case October or something like that?
Yeah, it's late, but the people since he's been cooperating, I think it's gonna be a situation where they take care, they do some type of settlement outside the court because the people do not want to press charges.
Yeah, he's going to get suspended though. They can't not suspend him for that. I mean, from what some people get suspended for, he's got to get a suspension at some point along the way. Maybe next year though, as you say, it might drift into 25.
Yeah,
and if so, then I think Rashee Rice is a massive player.
And he got Freiermuth. I'm big on Freiermuth. I think he's gonna have a great season, especially with the new offense. It'll be, it's gonna be a different offensive. I think Arthur Smith there now, so he'll be seeing some targets.
Do you know what I think about Freiermuth? I've said that the last 2 years, and both years he has been such a massive disappointment, and it's not that he's been awful, but he's not been great. So I'm like the boy who cried wolf with Pat Freiermuth now, I can't bring myself to pick him up because he's disappointed me 2 years in a row, and I was big on him 2 years in a row.
But he started off good last year, and it was like everyone's getting hamstring injuries last year. It was like,
I mean, he done okay. As you say, he done okay. Everett, he done well enough, but he wasn't the proper standout top 5 push into the top 5 tight ends that I was really hoping he was.
Oh yeah. And then they didn't have a quarterback, so that didn't help.
That's absolutely. Have they got one this year?
Oh yeah, they got 2 this year. They got 2 they can go to.
They'll get 2 that might be quarterbacks, but it's. I mean, and who else is there? If they don't bring in an Ayuk, it's only really the only other guy you've got there's Pickens, and I know Pickens. I really like Pickens, and I think he's going to have a big season. But I mean, Freiermuth should get a lot of targets.
Oh yeah, and then of course they'll use Warren as a third option as far as receiving. I even like how late Brown T got Hubbard. Hubbard's going to start with Jonathan Brooks on IR.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Hubbard is a sneaky late one to bring in. Definitely, and Ford as well. Ford at that spot. Ford's going to be starting because there's no way Chubb's going to be going from the start. And I love the fact that it's only one quarterback. I mean, that is the way to go. When Johnny, you sent me a list of quarterbacks that have been drafted, and I know that was only the first 10 rounds, but there were only 16 players on that list, so there's only 16 quarterbacks being drafted through 10 rounds. That's only half the starting quarterbacks in the league. There are quarterbacks in agency. I don't get the need to grab. I certainly don't get the need to grab Mahomes and Murray because that is such a headache, as you alluded to, Johnny.
Yeah.
And you see, this is the first division, so you can see there's so many teams with only one quarterback, and I know some might pick up another one along the back end, but there's going to be so many quarterbacks in the agency that I just don't get the need to waste a bench spot with one,
Yeah, I guess that's the fear of injury. I think that's what always plays. I know it does that. It does with me. So I mean,
well,
I waited to the 12th round to pick up a second one. So I can see why guys are doing it. But
I pick up my second, but I got one.
I cannot understand having a second one, although there are going to be weeks where your quarterback on your bench is going to outscore your quarterback in your team. But I just, Aaron Rodgers is going to be sitting in the agency. There's every chance Kirk Cousins is going to be sitting in the agency. And I mean, these guys will score you points in fantasy, and if you get unfortunate enough to lose your quarterback, then that's what there's still points there to be had in agency, and it's the same with the IDPs, and there's a lot of linebackers. There are a lot of points go through the agency in those positions. There's not a lot of points that go through agency and receiver and running back positions, and that's why I always think you're better getting those ones on your bench, because they're the ones that are harder to find in agency.
Cool.
For me.
So shall we go on to the next division then?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go and have a wee look at the next one. Yeah, let's see who's doing what in here. What way in the Innsbruck, Division 2. So this is Division 2 in the East.
Yeah, my division.
Where are we through, Johnny?
We're waiting on Tino on 17-12.
So it's only three more rounds to go there.
Oh wow!
I've got 4 more picks.
Where's Johnny here? What's going?
Oh, let's see what Johnny got going.
Oh, this is Johnny's.
This is my one, yes.
What's why are so many people falling out? Why is there no love for Johnny Herbert this year? Is it the injury? Are people worried about the injury?
Well, Johnny Herbert doesn't play in the NFL. Justin Herbert does. I'm not sure.
Justin Herbert, sorry.
I don't know. It's just I think because I don't know. Like I took Stafford. I was probably going to pick Cousins at the 6th on the 16-12, but Fantasy Man took him before me, so I just picked up Stafford to my second. So if Stroud does struggle, at least after week 6, I've got Stafford. So
if I had Stroud in my team, I would maybe want. See, that's it. That's when you need another quarterback in your team. When you've got a guy that maybe he's high, maybe he's not. That's when you want a second quarterback on your bench where you've got a half-decent one that, will score you some points. Stroud could very well regress after these, the defences have now had, they've got 17 NFL games on them now, of take on them. So you could see him maybe not scoring as well as he did last year.
Yeah, no, so I just picked up Stafford, so Stafford will get the points.
I get filling that void in the 16th round, that's I get that. It's who in the right, who's going to put Patrick Mahomes on the bench? Who's going to put Jalen Hurts on the bench or Josh Allen on the bench? Nobody. So why bother having a second one? Just pick someone up from agency in their bye week and job done. Anyway, I'll stop going on about that.
Unless sometimes I guess people do try to have some trade bait.
Trade bait is a bit. Who's going to trade? What are you going to give up for a quarterback when you can pick one up from agency?
Yeah,
it's my thing as well. It's in super flexes again. Absolutely, quarterbacks are very, very important. But in a 1 QB league, it's important to get a good starting one that will score you heavy. Most weeks. I don't see the need to have any on the bench because there are some in agency. Johnny, run this up a little bit, will you, just so as I can see the top? Because there were a couple of leagues that had really early couple of tight ends. I wanted to see how those teams are working out. No, it's not here.
Not really,
so talk us through what you've been doing then, Johnny. You're looking relatively strong here, I've got to say. What's going on?
Well, I was a bit... Obviously, I got to... I was wanting Ferguson, but he got the 606 by Duke, which pissed me off a wee bit. Then I thought I'll have Njoku, then he got bloody pinned. So I went with my man Jaden Reed, because I do love it. Jaden Reed, and I picked up Schultz, my first tight end. And then I just thought I'll pick up Okereke and Singleton, because they'll both be tackling machines. So I'm only sticking with two.
They're going to get. They're 100% snappers as well, aren't they?
They're going to get at least 20 points a week, probably in a bad week. So, and then obviously when it came back to the 10-12, I was running a bit short in the wide receivers with just having Cup and Reed. So I went for Samuel, who I think will have a good game here for the Bills. And Cortland Sutton at start will be the number one receiver. But then I probably should have picked up a running back, but then obviously because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 running backs went before I came back. So I've still got Hall and I've got McCaffrey. But then I picked up Jalen Wright because he will get his chances. And Hubbard, obviously, he's going to be starting as well.
Yeah.
For who knows how long.
I really like Cooper Kupp in the 5th. That's the best pick in 2 rounds. Like if I'm looking at the board, Cooper Kupp at 5 is strong.
I really like Sutton where he's going as well. I mean, someone's got to catch a ball in Denver, and that someone's going to be him. He's proved it before that it will be him, and it will be him. Yeah. So I think he's going way too late because he is a number one receiver.
And getting Tyler Boyd in the 17-1, I thought was a good one as well, because he always does well when one of the 1 or 2 receivers go out. And obviously,
yeah, Hopkins is out. Hopkins is going to miss a lot of time.
For him 6 or 8 weeks. So Tyler Boyd on the slot could get some targets as well. It depends on Will Levis, obviously. Yeah. But if you notice next to me, Rob Warner, on 16-11 went Justin Tucker, and then 17-02 went Brandon Aubrey. I knew you loved that one, Craig.
Oh, for goodness sake. No comment. Absolutely no comment, Johnny. Move on.
No, I had to bring that. I had to bring that one up. But no, I'm quite happy with my team, to be honest. So, but Sean's got quite a good team as well, though.
Yeah. What Sean? So running's up a little bit again. Sorry, because Sean done a lot of trades, didn't he? So how's that working out for him?
Sean's started off the Porter. Got Barkley, Kamara, Pittman, Smith, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Christian Kirk, Kenny McLaurin.
He's done that well.
Christian Watson. But you always do. Sean is a good bloody player, so you can you know when I did warn everybody when you do a trade. Well, he's got Aaron Rodgers as well on the 17th. Yeah, he's got Barkley, Kamara.
Barkley and Kamara and Jones. Sorry, there's all these running backs out there. Yeah, no, Sean's strong.
Ryan Robinson, Austin Eckler, Rico Dowdle. And he picked it. I was going to go with Taysom Hill for the old cheat tight end one as well, but he picked that before he got to the 2 wicket. But then he picked up Aaron Rodgers in 17.5. So that's his quarterback.
Will Barrow with Jordan Love and Brock Purdy. Is that not just too much of a headache every single week to what one do you start?
Yeah, well,
is that not just a headache you don't need?
Stephen picked up Joe Burrow, then picked up Herbert in the 16th round. So,
yeah, I mean, the teams are certainly starting to come together now. You know, it's difficult looking up and down them like this to see who's got what and where. You know, I mean, I love Achan this year. I think he's going to do great, and James Conner as well. So I look at Rob Warner there, and I think, Brown and Elliott in the 12th. Why did Elliott not go that late in mine? Because he would have went at mine. You know, so I like that kind of. You know, I like the 2 starters, and I quite like the 2. I certainly like Elliott as cover, and Brown should get his chances. You know, Zach Moss isn't. Zach Moss is fine. He'll do okay.
But then he's got Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott.
You know, so
he's going to have a headache too.
That's a massive headache. It's just too much of a headache. It's too much hassle for me to pick up between that week in, week out. You know.
Well, that's the way.
Njoku's a good.
Yeah, the Njoku's a
good tight end team there as well, and you can start them both. That's the thing. That's the thing with the tight ends. You can start them both. With the quarterbacks, you can't.
Yeah. But then he's gone your way. I don't think he's got any defenders yet, Rob. you'll be picking them late on.
I've got none. So yeah, I mean, this one's we're 3 rounds away from being able to talk about this one properly and run through the teams, but it's certainly it's taking shape. And looking through them, I'm not seeing anything. Nothing's jumping out at me as looking stupid. 2 kickers apart from that.
Oh, he's back. Hey, back again.
You only get 2. Is it just? Have you only got 2 defenders there, Johnny? That's all you've picked thus far.
Yeah, I've just picked Okereke and Singleton. I don't like you say they're both one's by week 11, one by week 14. So as long as they don't get injured, I'm not going to need a backup until week 11.
It's and it's very much it's when you're on the turn, I do like doing that. I do like doubling down on positions, at the turn just to make sure that you're getting 2 that you really want.
Actually, I've sort of done that as well with the running backs with Wright and Hubbard.
Yeah, it's a good way to go about it, and you've done it with wide receivers a couple of times there, and yeah, that's I think that's a good way of going about it. Are you worried about CMC and a wee injury, or no, not at all?
No, everybody's injured before the pre-season games. It gives me an excuse not to bloody play.
Good.
Yeah,
he's got 3 or 4 weeks to get fit. He's going to be fine. They're just going to rest him.
Yeah. At first, I was questioning.
I may pick up his backup though.
Yeah. At first, I was questioning Duke trading that pick, but what he picked up was pretty good to make up for trading his first pick.
He did.
Yeah, he gave away the first round pick, didn't he? He got Kelsey and Waddle.
Yeah, that's major. Kelsey, Waddle, and he also got Harrison and Henry. So for that to be your first 4 is still strong. And then he still got Debo, Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, Debo could be a cheat code this year if Ayuk does move on. That could be an absolute cheat code.
Even if he doesn't move on, but the problem with Debo is he does get hammered a lot. So.
That LA Clippers LA Chargers backfield. I mean, that's just an absolute minefield, isn't it? Who's your favourite out of it? Are you Edwards, or are you in the Edwards camp, or are you in Dobbins camp?
Who's the rookie? Is it Vidal?
Yeah, Vidal's a rookie. Vidal.
Yeah, he's a rookie. I mean,
yeah, but Gus Edwards has got no fucking. He's good for the goal line, but he's not really that fast. J.K. Dobbins could get injured again, and then you're up with Vidal for the running back.
I kind of like Stokes' team too, with Chase, Etienne, Adams, Evans, Richardson, Ramondre. He's that's gonna be. He got a tough team too.
I like him. He got the most out in the 10th. That was a good one because he wouldn't have made it back the other way.
It's all about the spread. I don't like taking a defensive back. I don't like taking a defensive back and an IDP unless it's a specific DB slot. They're not getting as many tackles, and it's the ball. You're reliant on the ball being thrown towards them for them to be involved. It's I'm very much take the defensive line and the linebackers where people are running at them as opposed to getting thrown at you. But outside of that, it's looking strong.
Well, he's got 2 linebackers. Has he got anybody else?
What's the Hopkins injury? Is it a bad one, Hopkins? It's not too bad, is it? Is he going to be fit for the start of the season?
Nah, he might miss the first 2 games, if at most.
Games, but
is it the ankle or is it the knee? I can't remember which one it is.
I think it's the knee.
The knee.
But it says he won't need any surgery. So they said that he'll be fine. They're not worried about it.
Was this? Sorry, guys. I was just watching the final of the 400 meters where the American pipped the British boy on the line. So congratulations, Everett. Your boy won it. Got your boy on the line once more.
The highlights have been crazy this year for the track and field.
Yeah, it's been nuts. The final of the 100 was a crazy one as well. That was a great final. But anyway, sorry, I'll take my concentration back onto here. And I like what Wheelbarrow's done. I don't like, the Love Purdy thing. That's kind of up in the air. But I like I like the fact how strong he is in the receiver room, and then he's got the running backs. It's a different way to go. It's a braver way to go than I can ever be, because I can't be that strong in one position and that weak in another position. I just can't go that way. It's not in me to do it. I think it's very brave.
Well, that's the thing with the running backs. Obviously, Dobbin's back from injury, Brooks is injured, Spears is unofficially the backup, and Chandler's the backup. So
yeah, I mean, definitely, it's Spears. We
and
say
Irvin's the
Spears is the
backup.
backup,
So
but let's not forget it's Paul Aroudn. Spears done quite a lot last year. I thought Spears done, he done okay last year.
I did hesitate with the backup. I didn't do the Ashes thing, but yeah. He's not really got a starting running back.
No, that and it's just such a brave way to go, because I mean, you got to take Stefan Diggs aside, because I'm not a fan of Stefan Diggs at all, but I see that as a kind of, I was wanting Tank Dell and he went right in front of me, you bugger. No, in fact, it went before Tank Dell, so that's not even true. But outside of that, he's very, very strong at wide receiver, and I'll be interested to see how that plays out.
Definitely. But she's got the headache of Love and Purdy. Which one to play?
I'm liking your team here, Johnny, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, that's good.
Right, I'm liking.
Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't.
You've got Hall as well, so you've got McCaffrey and Hall, and then Stroud, Cup, Reed. Yeah, and two linebackers are going to give you mega points. I think I quite like. I like your team here. I think that's the one to be on at the moment. See how you finish it.
Well, I've still got 4 more picks in the last 3 rounds, because I've got the 1806, 1812, 19-1, and
so you do.
See, with this draft, obviously, I'm not sure what Tino is. I wonder if it's America. Obviously, Duke's
I'm very interested.
Australia, so.
I'm very interested to see the kind of the wave of where people are getting picked, and where kind of guys are getting later and guys are going earlier. So I mean, I'm looking in here, and I mean, there's Sutton's what, the 11th round here. What was he, about the 14th in the first one? I mean,
well, if you want, we can have a look at that when you look at the ADP thing, because I've got it set for individual player position as well. So you'll be able to see what position they were picked in.
But it's not that it's just the big difference in where people are going. I mean, Zeke Elliott, he went in, what's in the 14th here, is that?
Yes, it's
12.
The 12th? Yeah,
that's 12-11. 12-11, he was 10-6 in mine.
Yeah,
it's just it just goes to show, the players that some people have their eye on, and there's other guys that absolutely don't, and they'll drop so far in drafts. I mean, there you go again, Everett, there you go, T-Law, he's away down in the 14th here as well, so...
Yeah, and to see Jaden Daniels that low, I'm like, man, to get away with Jaden Daniels that low is a steal.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a cheat code for fantasy with his legs.
Well, wait until you get to the division where Caleb Williams has picked one spot before Lamar Jackson. Not in this one, but there will be one. So we'll finish up here today, and then we'll get on to Craig's division.
That's my one, is it? Yeah, so...
13.2. Monday didn't you pick, Craig? So you don't have to pick online.
Craig, I got a question for Craig.
Yes.
I didn't get to ask you this last week. What made you take Justin Jefferson before Tyreek Hill and Jamar Chase?
I think Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver, and if you take away situation, you take away everything else, who is the best wide receiver? For me, it's Justin Jefferson. For me, he is top scorer if he's in, and obviously situation is a big thing, but someone's going to catch the ball there, and it's going to be Justin Jefferson. Addison's looking like Addison looks like he might be getting suspended as well for a DUI, so that would help out as well. But Yeah, I still think Jefferson is better. I would have taken him before Lamb as well, Everett.
Oh wow, okay,
For me,
okay. I just wanted to see where you was at with it. That was it.
yeah, for someone's going to catch them, and look what he done when it was Dubs or whatever his name was. It was a quarterback, you know. Jefferson scored points.
Yeah.
Dobbs, yeah,
Dobbs?
Jefferson scored points. I don't think he's one of those one of those receivers where I don't think it matters who the quarterback is. He will score points because someone has to catch them. So
Kind of reminds me of
Jefferson
like
was always
DeAndre
one to remember.
Hopkins. Like DeAndre Hopkins is quarterback proof when he was healthy.
OJ Beckham was OJ Beckham when he came. OBJ when he first came in. He was quarterback proof. You know, Antonio Brown was quarterback proof. There are receivers who are quarterback proof, and I think Jefferson's one of them. Now I get that Hill's, you know, any of those guys could score better than him this year because of their situations, you know. But when all was said and done, I wanted to go with Jefferson this year. And I knew, I didn't know, I had a feeling that Chase was going to get to me. And I certainly knew if Chase didn't get to me, then St. Brown would have or Hill would have. And that was going to be the next pick. I was always going receiver.
It did help.
Oh, you took Chase too. That's right. I forgot you made that trade. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
this definitely helped
well,
with this helped with Joe auto picking and ended up with Patrick Mahomes in the first.
It was, but it was Hill, Chase, and St. Brown, and there was 2 picks before me, so it was either one of those 3 I was more than delighted with. So, and it ended up that Joe autoed in it, but he got me back later on because he was the one that took Elliott before me. And if you look at what I done right after it, I went and took Dobbins, and I took him in a proper rage / panic / annoyance. And then as soon as I hit the button, I was like, Craig, why did you do that? So I'm now in Camp Dobbins, and I have to hope that Dobbins is what he's saying is right, and he is ready to go, and he's past his injuries, and he's going to have a massive year. That's what I've got to hope for.
Well, if he can stay fit, he will have a massive year, but it's a problem with staying fit. Maybe it's just that's the Baltimore curse.
Well, I mean, that's it's all about staying fit, isn't it? But
so this is the one.
He's not got a good history of doing so. But yeah, I love the trade that I done today. You know, kind of halfway through a badminton, a pickleball match, and quickly threw in accept because I just wasn't sure who else wanted to take there. And
9 quarterbacks and 10 picks.
I mean, I thought 13 and 14, right on that turn there. I'm getting, you know, I'm on that turn. I'll take that because I've got my eye on some guys that are going to be going around there. So I will take that. And if Monday doesn't take who I was going to take at 13-9 anyway, then it's worked out even better, you know. But look at the run of quarterbacks in the 13th round. Is that not just scary? Is that not just absolutely scary? What's that? 9 quarterbacks and 12 picks. I'm on the clock. No, not happening. But is that? I thought Doug was taking Purdy as his second quarterback, but he's not. He's taking him his first quarterback.
That was his first. Then you got Lawrence as a second.
So and then he did say that he'd taken. I knew he'd taken 2. There you go. I took his second up there.
I mean, for me, quarterback redraft.
I'm quite happy with how this has worked out for me so far. I know Doug's happy with how it's worked out for him so far, and quite honestly, I don't blame him. I think it's worked out very well for him as well. So I think this is going to be interesting as we go into it because there are some really strong teams in this. I just hope whoever's playing Sam week 5's want to watch because half his team's missing.
I think they not look that up last week.
I see Monday got the Lamb Prescott stack.
I mean that stack could pay absolute dividends, couldn't it? It really could. I mean, if you look at the first 3 picks that Monday's taken there, Lamb, Harrison, and Pittman.
Yeah,
that's later than Harrison's been going, so he's done really well there, you know.
Well, Craig, Doug is playing Sam in week 5.
You're joking. Why does it not surprise me? So look at what's that? Devontae Adams at the 4-2 and Mike Evans at the 5-6. When did they go in yours, Everett?
We'll find out soon enough.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, I can't. I think that's the furthest I've seen Mike Evans drop in any draft I've seen, and Adams at 4.
That is a big drop.
Yeah,
that is a big drop. I've got to say.
That's the first time. That's the lowest I've seen both of them.
Yeah,
I can't believe Mike Evans dropped that far. It's I have to say I was very surprised he dropped that far.
See, I do love looking at all the
Amari
drafts.
Cooper's going to start. When do you start looking at Amari Cooper and saying, "Oh, if they bring in Ayuk, if he goes to San Francisco," when do you start looking at him and thinking about that? Is that going to change his draft position? And while uncertainty's going on,
if they trade Cooper to San Francisco, we might see the Cooper from the Cowboys.
Oh, they trade. I mean, Cooper, I love Cooper. I think he's a great player. I would absolutely. I think Amari Cooper's a better wide receiver than Brandon Ayuk is right now. I think it makes the 49ers stronger. I know he's older, therefore that's, you've got to take that into consideration in their trade. But as of today, I would say Amari Cooper's a better wide receiver than Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, but I think they might be wanting too much for Ayuk. They probably want like 2 first-round picks or something crazy like that.
Well, that's it's going. I don't know that they'll be that crazy about it because do you really want to? I don't think he makes that big a difference. I think it's a situational. Kind of squad. It's the San Francisco 49ers do so well because they have a great coach who makes up great plays, and I think you can pretty much plug in Pearsall, for example, will plug in there no problem and take Ayuk's role. I don't think Ayuk wins a Super Bowl per se. So I don't think it loses on the Super Bowl losing them. But if they bring in Cooper and if they get Cooper in the way back,
if I was San Francisco, I would take Amari and the first round all day for Brandon Ayuk.
I don't think it'll be a first round though. I think it's going to be like kind of Cooper in maybe a 3rd and 4th or a 2nd or something like that.
Right.
I can't see them giving up that much. Can you? I would be very disappointed if San Francisco 49ers got a first rounder and Amari Cooper, I've got to say. But yeah, I think that does kind of anyone who's drafting Cooper at the moment, anyone who's drafting Ayuk at the moment, has to be kind of starting to get a bit worried about that. I mean, what happens if Ayuk ends up in New England?
I think
New England pulled out. New England pulled out.
Are they out? Are they completely out now?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Because that would be a disaster for those drafting them in the kind of 3rd round, Pearsall maybe isn't ready to replace Ayuk, but I think he'll do just fine. I don't think starting Pearsall over starting Ayuk is going to make a difference between. Yeah, Joe'd cry maybe, but I don't think that's going to make a difference between them winning the Super Bowl or not. That's what I don't get about it. But yeah, those who have drafted Ayuk in the 2nd round, 3rd round, where he's been going, must have a lot of interest in what's going on there at the moment, and there must be. I think going to the Browns wouldn't be a bad thing for him.
No, I'm over here looking. So what's that? Joe Hadson and Matty back to back have 2 sneaky good teams as well.
I think that's. I mean, obviously, I've been following this division because I'm in it, but I don't think anyone's done. I think everyone's done quite
it's fairly
well so far.
Even,
But then
yeah.
We are only through 13, we're not even through 13 rounds here, we're only through 12 rounds here. So, this is where it gets interesting. This is where people start making mistakes. This is where they start drafting, kind of outsiders. This is where people start reaching down thinking, I really want him, so I'm going to go and get him now. This is when
then you've got
really starts to
James in the 12th got 4 defenders.
Yeah, that's it.
Crosby, Smith, Garrett, and Warner. It's a bit of a mental one. So 4 for 2 spots.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of. I mean, I've got 0 defenders at the moment, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a good way to go. Far from it. I think getting one of these superstar ones in that do guarantee you 20 points a week is massive. But it's just the way it's kind of fell. It's the way my draft has fallen with not having the 7th and 8th round, where I would maybe be looking to pick one of them up, or 8th and 9th, maybe I think it was. But where I would be getting one, so I've had to let that go. And as I say, right before my last pick, before I had to go into my hiatus, I couldn't not take Kyler Murray. I wanted him so bad as my quarterback this year. So I plumped for reaching down and picking him up, and I hope it doesn't backfire on me. As I say, that's my starting lineup filled up now for the offense, and filling it in with Romeo Dubes, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. My biggest worry is Dobbins in my team.
I just noticed that Sam's got the same 2 quarterbacks as me because he got Stafford in the trade. So he's got Stroud and Stafford.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Sam traded for it, and then a big run of quarterbacks. I love it. If he'd have picked up, I mean, it's I can't say because Monday's still.
You can't say because you might get picked. I mean, yeah.
It's as I say, I'm quite happy with how mine's going, but I'm also a little bit upset with the fact that everybody else seems to be doing really quite well here as well. So this is going to be an interesting division to see how it goes.
There's some nice divisions so far. So who's that? Oh, Doug. Yeah,
he's not a starting running back. He's a flex. Thank you very much, Douglas. But he's actually a flex. He's not a starting running back. He is in flex at the moment. Therefore, he will be susceptible to be removed.
So we'll head on to the Mullhead. So we've got EEG in this one. They started off McCaffrey, Neighbours, Jacobs, Flowers. That's pretty good. Now they've got Daniels, but in the back of Stafford, and also picked up Dubes and Charbonnet quite late on too. So it's quite a nice one.
See, I've got no problem. The first one on round 1, the first pick here, I've got no issue with picking up Stafford there because Daniels, you just never know. He might be a little bit, might not even start week 1. I mean, he will start week 1, but I get picking up a solid backup for him. You can always start Daniels, and you'll never be disappointed if Stafford outpoints Daniels because you're always going to go with the legs, So that's a kind of a quarterback on the bench that makes sense to me.
Herbert went in the 10th here. Lawrence in the 13th for Moss.
I like that Chase, Wilson, Waddle, Andrews, Kupp, Stevenson. Got Prescott, Pollard. That's a tough team right there at 5. Yeah.
Kupp was just Kupp has went so late. I mean, don't get me wrong. Kupp could be the Kupp of last year, in which case it's everyone's getting excited for nothing. I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to have a massive year. And I'm so disappointed that he didn't come back round to me. And when I was waiting to pick him up, and I'm even more disappointed it was Doug that took him. Do you know what I mean? But, very, very upsetting. The one that I'm very, very cold on, the one that I could not be colder on right now is Stephon Diggs. I just cannot be colder on him.
No, I'm not keen.
Do you have a differing opinion?
That offense, I don't want to say it scares me, but it's hard to pick somebody on. I say this, and I know in another league I'm in, I took Nico Collins at 3, but I mean that I think Nico Collins benefits more having Diggs there. If they're going to double anybody, it's going to be Diggs. But how do you double if you got Diggs, Dell, and Collins there? It's just you don't know who's going to be the main guy each game.
That's the thing as well. And see, for me, I love Nico Collins and I love Tank Dell. So someone had, and the way Diggs, I feel like he regressed last year. I feel like he's a little bit more of a, I don't know, bad influence in the dressing room somewhat, I mean, Stephon Diggs is used to being the alpha. He is not the alpha anymore. He's not even number 2 for me. I think that might be a problem for them going in.
I think Kincaid being there affected him more than him regressing. he wasn't just the main option, you know.
Yeah, yes, yeah, of course, but it's, you know, I would say, I mean, his toys came out the pram a bit last year as well. I think a little bit when they were going through a bit of a bad patch, which showed his colours a little bit again, the same as they did in Minnesota. I just, you know, I'm not a Stefan Diggs fan, I've got to say, and I see him going backwards at rate of knots this year. That's my that's my big. He's the one that I'm very, very cold on, of the ones that are going up top. You know, it's he's the one that I'm coldest on.
Yeah, like and when Pez's team, who did end up with Diggs, I never picked him, but Pez was he was at a festival all weekend, so I picked Pickens
yeah,
for him,
that's right.
McLaurin, Okereke, and Singletary.
It's,
So I picked those players for him. So.
Oh, look, I just realized okay, they said Pez is here. Okay, Pez is in this one.
Yeah.
Pez is
Pez is right in the middle.
Pez was away all weekend, so I picked his 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 6, and 9, 7 for him. Then I didn't want to pick a quarterback in case I picked the wrong one.
He was able to get his buddy Kenneth Walker,
wasn't
he? I was about to say he just got his buddy Kenneth Walker on his team.
He's always going to have.
He made sure he got that before he went away.
Someone tell me what Gary's going to do when Derrick Henry gets injured. Groovy.
Pick up. No idea.
Groovy, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth one, and he's got Bijan and he's got Derrick Henry, and then zero running backs after that.
Yeah.
That's that could be a problem.
Panic.
And Musgrave is his tight end 1.
So I'm going to laugh when Ayuk moves as well, because he's a massive 49er fan. And he drafted his boy, and his boy's going to Cleveland.
With Deshaun Watson.
He has picked up Pearsall down there as well to cover it. But yeah, I'd be slightly worried at that sense of the running backs. It'll be very interesting to see what running backs Gary punches in here from rounds 15 to 20. But I can imagine he's going to have to pick up at least 2, maybe 3.
Who's the backup in Baltimore?
A few back light teams here, you know. There's a few. I mean, there your batch has got A-Chain, who I love, White, who you know, on the fence with it, he'll be fine. And then Chubb, but Chubb's injured, of course. So and A-Chain's not exactly got the best record of staying on the field, has he? So I'd be a wee bit worried for my backfield there as well. So you can see that there are teams here that are still after quite a couple of good running backs, or you know, serviceable running backs here. So interesting to see how this one finishes.
Yeah, we've still got 6 rounds to go. So
yeah, absolutely. But I can imagine that the running backs are, so you know, when Elliott was kind of the last of the ones that I was looking at to thinking, yeah, you can be plugged in as a starter pretty much any week, you know. But after that, I think it's situational now.
Yeah, where Elliott's been falling.
Right.
That's J.K. Dobbins, Vidal.
Yeah, you've got Dobbins there.
Tyler Adrian. He's another. Yeah, Gibson. There's a few left out there.
I mean, there's a few left that will score points, but you've not got any starters left out there apart from Dobbins, maybe. That you've got no starters there anymore. They're all very much the number 2s that are left. And that's not to say that number 2s don't score points, but you're less inclined to want to rush them in. You're certainly not going to play them in your flex roles, you know, because you're going to have better receivers than that. And sometimes they bust out of the game, you know. And that's my problem with those guys. So yeah, to have them as your third option, your fourth option, maybe your fifth option, yes, that's great. Good player to have as your fifth option. To have as your third option, I'm not so sure.
Well, Keaton Mitchell would be the
Well, that's like Keaton Mitchell. Yeah, he was good when he's fit. He can't stay fit either. That's a problem.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be fit to start the season either, is he? I think he's going to be.
I think he's still hurt. Yeah, he's still hurt. Coming back from that surgery.
He's going to be sitting for a bit.
Oh, Justice Hill. I mean, he's going to be using it for punt returns and kick returns, but you've got Justice Hill as well.
Yeah, they still have him too. Yeah, Justice Hill.
They've got a rookie. They brought in a rookie as well. It might get a little bit of a run out.
Yeah, he's been picked mid teen rounds, he's been picked in a couple of leagues actually. That is it. Ray Davis, Al Davis, Ray Davis.
No,
He's
is he not Buffalo? It's Ali, I think his name
Ali,
is.
the
Ravens boy. Yeah, I just
no,
picked
it's a
him up
Buffalo
from a
boy's
week.
been picked. So,
but it's for dynasty. They're there for dynasty purposes, but this ain't dynasty. So it's I mean, the only running back you should surely be looking at out of Baltimore this year's Derrick Henry. If he doesn't get hurt, then none of them are going to get a look in. And I include Keaton Mitchell in that when he comes back. If Henry doesn't get hurt, he's going to be an absolute bell cow. They'll run him into the ground because they only need him for a year.
Yeah, I do like Gaming Teachers team though. Ramon Brown, Antonio Brown, AJ Brown, McBride, Richardson, Nixon, Cooper, Montgomery. A couple of good good kicker. Hawkinson when he comes back, and Hubbard. It's a nice team.
It's the running back room that worries me there as well. I'm looking for the good running back. So someone in here must have an absolute beast of a running back room. Why am I missing it? Why am I not seeing it?
Well, Page has got Hall, Walker, Singletary, Eckler, and Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's kind of five that you could start any given week, you know. I mean, who knows what Eckler's going to do? I get a feeling Eckler's going to be a lot better than where he's getting drafted this year. I think there's still life on the old dog there yet. And I think he's got a chip on his shoulder because he never got paid. And from the Chargers never ever paid him. And so I think he's got a chip on his shoulder to say, I want to prove my point here.
Yeah, I don't think it's available in my one.
I really do.
But
yeah, I mean, through 14, no team's jumping out at me here to say that's really not very good, and no team's jumping out at me to say that's definitely going to win it. You know, it's very even, and it's going to, you know, a lot of work still to be done in the last 6 rounds. But I'd be slightly worried if I was Gary. I've got to say, with only 2 running backs. And I'd probably be smiling if I was Pez, thinking I'm on a good one here. Apart from Diggs, I really don't like where he's got Diggs, but outside of that, I think he's on a good one there.
Well, he's got 2 as his quarterback, so you will need a replacement in week 6. But he'll be good at home. He'll just not be good away from home when it starts getting cold.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about Tua, but there's no way Pez won't take a quarterback later on because I know what it's like. He'll definitely have another one. There's every chance that will be the starter over.
Oh,
you know, there'll be loads still left.
I don't think he'll pick Gino, but he really doesn't like Gino, even though he's a Seattle fan.
Yeah, I mean, Levis is a ball. You know, there's plenty still left. Derek Carroll do just fine in New Orleans. You know, he's going to do okay. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl. He's not going to win you. You know, he's not going to win you the OrkneyBowl, but he's not going to lose you either.
No, he did okay in the points last year because you got to bear in mind it's only 0. minus 0.3 for an interception. So you're not going to get completely killed for throwing an interception. I think you get it's more if one goes back for a pick 6, but for an interception it doesn't kill you. So it is slightly quarterback friendly. So.
This is a very even. I mean, they're all very even at this stage of the season. Everybody's fit. Everyone's an NFL player. Everyone can play. It's very difficult to say that a team doesn't look good. You know, you can certainly say that teams look brilliant. Sure. But it's very difficult to look at a team and say, "Oh, that doesn't look good," because they're all NFL players, and you know you can make a case for any one of them.
Oh, there you go. Arthur's done your worst thing, Craig. I've just noticed you drafted 3 quarterbacks.
Well,
Kyler Murray, CJ Stroud,
Murray, Stroud, and May.
I didn't notice that one at all.
It's not a dynasty. Why would you need 3 quarterbacks?
Could have left Drake May on the waiver wire.
No one's going to trade for. See, whenever you see a quarterback included in a trade in a redraft, it's always loads of other players involved, and the quarterback's just been chucked in as I want them off my roster. That's how they go.
May
unless it's one of the top kind of 5. Unless it's one of the same bye week
as well. So, Wallace is gone. Here's the beat.
Sorry, did you just say they've all got the same bye week?
CJ Stroud and Drake May have got the same bye week in week 14. So it's not as even if he's done it just for bye weeks. So.
No. Why? You know,
I don't know.
each to
I'm
their
sure
own, Johnny. Each to their own,
Arthur
Everett,
will
you
let
know.
us know, I'm sure.
I
He's a
am
Browns
far
fan.
from the. I am far from an expert at this, you know. I'm just giving my opinion I'm just calling it as I see it, but that is not a way to go for me.
Ooh, I'm 4 picks away for getting a pick. Cool.
I
Yep.
like what
So,
Jay's done there as well, Jay Bowens, where he's got Gibbs right up, and that's exactly who if I'm on the 111, that's who I'm taking. Gibbs is who I'm taking at 111. Then he's went with his onesie positions, which I don't hate when you're that late along, you know. Filled them in well, but then he's filled in with 3 really good receivers right after that. Then he's, you know, Nash, Spears, and Brown. He's now got 4 running backs, of which he's got 1 bona fide starter, and then the other 3 can play out for the other spot, you know. And if one of them's doing, if 2 of them are doing well, he can use the flex. So I like what he's done there. I don't think he quite needed Kirk Cousins in there when you've got Jalen Hurts. You're not going to play Cousins.
yeah, but then
at all.
you might only need him for week 5. Then after that, you won't need him after that. So I think he's looking at the way Hurts is by week 5. You want to get the bye week out the way, so you need a quarterback that will cover you for that. You might trade him away if he's playing well. You might just dump him.
Go into agency and find the one in there that's playing a bad team and go with him. So yeah, this is, as I say, I think this is a very open again. I like a couple of the running, because there's a couple of teams that are very weak at running back. There's a couple of teams here that are exceedingly strong at running back. And
I like what Stevie did in that 12th spot.
Taylor,
yeah, again, you know, getting Allen 201. That's, you know, Allen went 101 in our league. You know, so to get my whole round later, that's good.
And this IDP, like on this, I'm still new to drafting IDPs. To get them at 4 and 5, and then you still land Kirk, Connor, Johnson, and Robinson, and to get Schultz and Goddard as your tight ends, he did great on that side of the board.
You're absolutely right there, Everett. He has done superb there, hasn't he? As you say, Kirk, Connor, Johnson, and Robinson. What a runner for that is, because that's 4 guys that should, you know, Kirk and Johnston. I don't get why Deontay Johnson's going so late, but I do, because of the team that he's in now. But someone's got to catch him, and that someone's going to be him. It's the same situation with Sutton. You know, someone's got to catch him.
Yeah, and Johnson's a PPR machine. I mean,
yes, Craig knows how much I like Deontay Johnson. He didn't make it to me in the Orkneybowl, but
Johnny kept him in our home league.
By mistake.
Johnny kept him 1 year.
I put him in my keepers in January and never took him out by the time the draft came.
You're going to start over Stroud and Murray. That's just you know, and then to add May to that equation as well, batchy batch. But yeah, I mean, there's none jumping out at me to be maybe batches, but very, very open at the moment. And as I say, it'll be interesting to see what happens between the running back heavy teams and the running back weak teams, and who comes out on top in that battle, because there is a spread in this league, you know, where there's a couple of teams that are really running back light.
Yeah.
And they challenge.
So that'll be the Mulhead done. So that's Easter Conference. So we'll take a wee break from the draft and do the Chelsea draw. So, and yes, my name is in it because I am allowed to bloody win it because there's 96 teams. So somebody will be winning a signed jersey, and it's a Chad Ochocinco Bengals jersey. So Moz will be loving it. Where is it?
Bengals jersey.
It's lying about somewhere.
Don't land on me, please.
No, Chad Ochocinco. Bengals, not Eagles.
Nice.
So that'd be a nice one. So good luck to everybody.
Excellent. Good luck, everyone.
Too far away.
It's going to be SX. It's going to be Australia. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be Australia.
Oh, get the pockets, Jack.
What,
the dad to be has just won a new jersey. Well done, Jack. Oh, there we go. I'll get your address.
Congratulations, Jack.
Congratulations. Congratulations,
Jack. You didn't even watch us either. So We'll go on to the North Conference now. And we've got the Happy Valley, so this is Division 1.
This is Division 1, right? So let's see where we're at here. Let's get through these then. So where are we at? We're through
16. Well, they're in 16 now.
Right, has anyone done anything silly? Let's see who's in that. Oh, this is Aroudn's league. Oh, I've had a kind of nose in this one. So this is Aroudn's league. So as I look, that's my son, Everett.
Craig, this one we have Graham, we have Ross, and we have Alan from the Show Me the Money.
Aaron said, "Be nice, here. Craig." He said, "Be nice, Craig."
Not a chance. Will be nice.
He was home. He lives down in London now. So he was home last weekend. He was home last weekend, and I said to him, if you have 2 quarterbacks in your team when I go to do this on Wednesday night, you better not watch. So I love to see that he's got Richardson and only Richardson.
Yeah, but he's got 3 defensive linemen.
Yeah, that's. Do you know what the thing is? I mean, we're all still learning. He's still learning the defense. He's still learning the game, much less the defensive. The IDP side of it. It can be difficult at times. Even I don't get it. Even I struggle with getting it. I know the big names, but see, and the big names aren't necessarily the ones who score well in fantasy football. They're just the ones that make the big plays, but it's the sneaky ones that come under the radar that no one's heard of that get all the tackles, and that's where the points come from. So I don't knock him for doing that. He's picked up 3 kind of names: Crosby, Bossa, and Hutchison.
3 good players, but yeah, I do like the Judy in 14th and the Dotson in the 16th round. They never made it to me in either one because I do like Johan Dotson if he can stay healthy. So.
Absolutely. I mean, both fine number. They're both kind of looking to be number 2 this year. Both in. Well, Judy should both in teams that you don't know what's going to come from the quarterback, but they're both decent receivers, so you would think that they'll do okay, but not ones I've got my eyes on. I've got to say, but I don't knock him. I don't knock picking them up. Where's the screen gone, Johnny? There we go. So so I don't hate what you're doing right now, Aaron. I've got to say, and then we've got our charity, Orkney Charity Bowl, Tony, in this one as well. Yeah,
Puka, Wilson, Henry, Collins, Stroud. So he's got the Stroud Collins stack. Good tight end in the 6th round. Taking a gamble on Brooks, but he's got Singletary, Benson, Algier will get touches. And he's done the same as me as well. He's got Stroud followed up by Stafford in the 16th round. So seems to be a thing. If you get Stroud, you've got to get Stafford.
Well, what do you think about Benson? The chat out of Arizona is Benson is not doing that great, really, isn't it? I mean, they're talking that he's not even got the number 2 knocked down, and when it's Michael Carter and DeMarcado that you're fighting with, you would think that he would have that nailed down by now. So Benson worries me a little bit for this year, I've got to say.
Well, you got to think DeMarcado actually did pretty well last year when he came in. Bar one game, but he had a couple of good games and one awful game when he came in. So
he's done okay, but I mean, he's not knocking out the park. What was it? A third round? Benson went 3rd round, 4th round, but it was the 2nd running back off the board. The 2nd running back off the board should not be in a competition with DeMarcado for a position that's. If he is, then he shouldn't have been the 2nd running back off the board.
Yeah.
But I mean, Graham's quite happy with what he's been doing here, and I don't. Looking at it now, I don't blame him. Again, it's a running back room that's a kind of, and you can see that he's tried to kind of do something about it with taking the dart throws on the turn as well. So you get, Davis and Estimate.
Got 3 rookie running backs. He's got Corum as well.
Yeah, one of them kind of. Well, he's got Corum to cover Williams. He's basically got the Rams running back field, because if Williams goes down, then Corum just slips right in there. But yeah, he's kind of going to need something out of Pollard, I would imagine, at some point or another.
He's got Purdy and Prescott.
You'll be watching the Ayuk situation with vested interest as well, because he's got Samuel and he's got Amari Cooper. So that would, if Amari Cooper goes to San Francisco, he's going to be. I don't think he'll like that. Having them both in the same team. But
you'd almost have to play Purdy
yeah,
just to stack them up with both. Like,
I'm a wee bit worried for Dylan in his running back room as well. There's only 3 of them there just now. It's Eckler's getting on.
and it's Swift as well.
Swift is Swift, isn't he? He is the vanilla of running backs, isn't he? Don't love him, don't hate him. He'll do you fine.
I like E-Dubs. Chase Adams. There you go. I thought you'd like that one. But yeah, Ferguson in the 7th round is pretty good. Coleman, you don't know what you're getting. But 3 good linebackers, which will get your points. You got Goff.
Yeah, I was just trying. So like, I'm stubborn when it comes to taking certain people in certain spots. So I know I should have reached for a couple other wide receivers like before I drafted Harris. They just didn't fall to me. Like I had my eye on Kirk, but he got snagged a few spots before. But
no, that's one of the problems I've been on the turn as well, Everett. You've got but once you take your 2 picks, there's 22 picks are going to go before it comes back to you again. And then inevitably, just as it starts crawling back to you, a couple of guys that you're thinking, oh, I could do it in making it, and they just don't. They get taken right in front of you. And it's the pain of being on the turn, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Then I try to learn from my mistake from last year. I was like, I'm not going to be short on running back. So I think I can try to find me some sleeper wide receivers that are left, and then I think I should be all right.
I think you've done really well there to fill in your running backs. After taking your wide receivers 1, 2, 3 to get, Kyle Walker absolutely should have a great season. I love Harris. I'm very much Camp Harris. I am not Camp Warren. I'm very much Camp Harris. And Brian Robinson will do I think he'll do very well in Washington this year. Eckler will take, he'll come in as a chain. He'll take the catches maybe, but I think Robinson will do well on the ground. Elliott, I absolutely love Elliott. When did you get him? 10, 12? And Ford is going to start for Cleveland. So I think you filled that room in very well, given the fact that you didn't have one in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, so I try to make a trade with the other wide receiver heavy team, but he turned me down quick. So
yeah, it's I mean it's Keon Coleman in there as well. I think what round's that? The 8. That's the back end of the last pick of the 8th round. You're picking up Buffalo Bills #1 wide receiver, and he is going to be Buffalo Bills #1 wide receiver. So you've got the #1 quarterback in most leagues. I know I see he's #2 here, but the #1 quarterback taken in most leagues. That's his #1 as well, maybe #1 wide receiver. And he's going away down at the end of the 8th round. I think that's nuts, and I think that's you're drafting him at his floor for sure. If he has the worst season he could possibly have, he's going to do as well as the players that have been drafted around him. Watson, Dubs, Worthy, Ladd, Rome, even Rice. Coleman's going to get those points. No way he's not.
Yeah, I know it's going to be tougher this year because everyone has some really, really strong spots on their team. But just like you say, we have to see how the rest of this draft goes and how it goes when the season starts.
And that's every team kind of looks fine before week 1. It's when you go and look at it at week 5 and it's been picked to the bones and injuries and people are falling out of form, and that's when you really can have a look at it. But I mean, this week does look. Yes.
Alan wanted your opinion on his team. He messaged me the other day when he wanted to hear you felt when he went back to back for defenders.
Where is it? What one is it?
104. 1.04. Alan said.
Also, it is Samal. Sorry, it's because it starts with S. I mean, he's went back to back with 2 again. It's he's went early with them for me as well. But I mean, he's got 2 bona fide 20-point a week guys. There's no. So I don't overly. I don't knock people for doing it. I really don't. I think that's not the worst. And I don't know enough about IDP, I've got to say. I just see that when I'm looking at the agency as the season goes in, see when you're in week 8 and you go into the agency and you look and you see the players that are in agency and the points that they scored that week, there's not going to be very many running backs who've scored well. There's not going to be very many wide receivers who've scored well. But there's going to be a lot of IDPs who've got 12, 14, 15, 16, 20, 24 points, that are IDPs who score. Now, they don't score every week. That's the thing, and it's getting the right ones in. But I would be I'm more comfortable taking IDPs later on, and if they're not doing very well, drop them, pick up another guy until he's not doing very well, drop them, pick up another guy. And, some weeks, obviously, it doesn't work and you get beat, but you don't need to win every week, and you just need to make sure that you get the right blend by the time it comes round to playoffs. But that's their positions that I think you can play with in season a lot more than you can the running backs and the wide receivers. Because for them, you're looking at you're relying on injuries and therefore guys getting chances that they wouldn't be getting if the boy was fit.
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah, I was about to say I quite like team trade frenzy until I look at the running backs.
I mean, I do like. I do. I mean, he's got two of the highest scoring IDPs in there, and he started really strong with Hill, Harrison, White, and Moore. He has then filled in the running back room relatively decent as well. Connor and White, both number ones. So he has 3 number ones there. Most start, he'll be timeshare. Then he's got Wright as cover for when he inevitably gets hurt. So yeah, I like what he's done. I like what Alan's done so far.
Cool.
Be interesting to see what other tight ends he can bring in, though, because I'm not sure Conklin's the man to be leading the tight ends when you're getting half a point extra per catch.
What ones are left? He's on the clock and one in a bit picked. So tight ends. You've got a Conquer who might get some targets now that he's down.
Yeah, like him.
No
Very much like a Conquer. I mean, there's guys there. There's guys there that'll do okay, but I get, they're going to have good weeks and they're going to have bad weeks is the thing. But it is another position where you can play about in agency, For me, the running backs and the wide receivers that are in agency are in, they're only getting a chance if players get injured or fall out of form, But whereas there will be the odd tight end in the agency who does do really well throughout the season, I think there'll be but linebackers certainly, there are going to be loads of them, and of course there's quarterbacks who score from there. Brendan Ayuk's listen. No, Devontae Adams is not going to San Francisco. Douglas is going to stop typing. Please, just trying to get under my skin, and it's working. So move on.
He wants to go to the Jets. That's where he wants to go. Yeah.
Well, does he? Does he? If he wanted to go to the Jets, he wouldn't have went to the Raiders, Johnny.
No, I think I saw somewhere that if he's going anywhere, it'd be the Jets. I think it's Jesus, what they'll happen to.
He doesn't want to go to the Jets. Yeah, let's go to the next one. This one's very even. I like what you're doing so far, Everett. Finish it off. Don't mess up the finish, will you not?
No, I don't take any rounds off. I promise you that.
Good man, good man.
Oh, Garrett's
division. This is a Maze Howe all the way up to the 16th round as well. This is Garrett's one. He started off. McCaffrey, Kelsey, Jackson, Jones, Samuel, Godwin, Pickens, Ridley, Sutton, Hawkinson.
Big run on receivers there.
Yeah.
I'm worried there. The first team there, I'm worried about the running back room again. I mean, McLaughlin, it's just such a mess in Denver. The whole entire offense is a mess, and you just don't know who's going to be what. But you have to imagine that Jamal Williams is going to be. McLaughlin should get touches, but it's a bit of a mess there with Estime not knowing how good he's going to be as well. So I would be, the team is great everywhere else, but running back's going to be a problem there.
Oh, yeah.
It's always running backs, isn't it? It's Super Gibbs as well. It's Super Gibbs. Bartley and Pacheco, too. Plug them in, never move them. But then what are you going to do when one of them gets hurt?
I know. And the early bye weeks as well, which is no great. And you've got D Love has got Hall and Etienne in the same bye week, but he's picked up Javante Williams and Ford.
I'm very interested to see if one of these running back light teams, how they do throughout the season. I want to know for next, for the end of the season, how these teams, have they managed to get through the season and get promotion with that handicap of such have they been so strong in the other positions, carry the fact that they've been weak at running back. Interesting to see, because I do think that's for me, it's easier to carry your wide receiver, and be strong at running back than it is to carry running back, be strong at wide receiver. But we'll see.
I like what Mark did in the 9 spot with Robinson, Taylor, Adams, Andrews, Neighbors, Ingram, Kirk, Johnson,
Prescott.
That's solid there.
Yeah, that's
you
get your 2 running backs in, and then you effectively fill your receivers when you include the 2 tight ends as well. And I love 2 good tight ends. I'm not against that at all. And I have only got Kelsey so far, so I'm only going to have 1 proper good tight end. But I'm very much not against having 2, because you can play them both. They get an extra half point for catching the ball, and you're keeping them away from other teams, which is just as big.
And you got to look with his team, the running backs have got bye weeks in week 12 and 14 and 14. So by the time their bye weeks come along, Brooks should be fit and playing. He should only miss the first half of the season, or first 64 or 5 games. So he should be NFL ready. So he's got a nice running room core as well as receivers and tight ends. So yeah, Mark's got a good team there. And Palmer,
I think that
Wales at the 7 spot.
Round.
He's like in the same position with Garrett, like with the running back room. He got 4, 5. He got 2, 4, 6, 7 wide receivers. Pitts at tight end.
8 wide receivers.
Chase Brown is like 50-50, and Montgomery's like 50-50 because he's battling with Gibbs for touches.
Charbonnet as well.
Yeah, Brown. I mean, that is a running back problem as well, isn't it? That again, here we are. We've got that. This is again another league where there are a few teams that have went weak at running back in order to go strong everywhere else. As you say, Everett, Wales there. Brown, Charbonnet, Montgomery, none of which are going to be starters, and then you've got McCaffrey, Jones, and McLaughlin, all that's there, and then you've got the Mixon, Pollard, and Warren is the only 3 running backs for one Dave Hendo. So yeah, it'll be interesting. This is very much split down the middle between running back heavy and wide receiver heavy teams. So it'll be good to see how it comes out.
Oh, and then the guy in the 3rd spot, was Stevenson, Singletary, and Chubb, and Chubb's on IR. So I mean that's tough there too. And then
yep. Sorry, missed that one. Yep.
He's cutting close on wide receiver. I think 3 IDPs that early kind of hurt him. You're talking about Khalil Shakir, Tank Dell, Jamar Chase, and Curtis. I mean, you got 2 wide receivers on the same team. That's rough there.
4 IDPs because he's taking a defensive back in the 14th.
I see that.
Here? There's 4 DBs taken here.
There's another team with Stroud and Stafford. Seems to be a thing. Yeah, I like Dream's one though, with Williams, Mostert, Moss, Elliott, and Hubbard.
Yeah, he's sneaky like that.
But yeah, it's a bit sneaky. He always seems to get good wide receivers as well.
Yeah, and he's got the whole the running back room there's pretty decent. And you've got Williams there, but the Mostert will get his touches. Again, I'm a massive A-Chain fan, so I'm hoping that A-Chain he hits the ground running. I really do. I'm a massive fan. Zach Moss, so he'll be the number 1, but Brown will be chapping at his heels if he doesn't do. If he has it, and if he's not such a player where if he has a couple of bad games, he will be dropped. If Kamara has a couple of bad games, he won't be dropped. If Walker has a couple of bad games, he won't be dropped. But if Moss has a couple of bad games, he'll be dropped.
Yeah,
and Hubbard as well.
Yeah, there's another team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He got Josh Allen, Barkley, Pacheco, but those are only 2 running backs.
Yeah, the only 2 running backs. That's it. Yeah, I said that one. But then if you look down at it as well, there is quite a lot of receivers.
Got 4 linebackers.
A lot of receivers. But yeah, it's. I mean, if you look at the 3, there's 3 teams there, 3, 4, 5 of when linebacker. Rounds 5 and 6, so the linebackers did start going here. Now you can see, that this league's been drafted completely different in that someone's went really early on O'Cocken, and then it started. People started panicking about it. Then Warner goes in the next, and then people start panicking, going, "Oh, I need to get my linebackers," and boom, there you go, you get the big run of them. So, I imagine that there are still some serviceable kind of tight ends, wide receivers, and running backs in the draft here, because there's a lot of defensive backs have went out.
Running backs.
Maybe not so many in the tight ends, but
Marshawn
Lloyd still there. Algiers, so there are still ones that you can be bringing in that have already gone in other leagues at this point, but they're still there. What about Damian Pierce? I mean, I know they've brought in Mixon, but surely Pierce done okay.
They also brought in Cam Akers.
They did.
He looked quite good he looked good in the Hall of Fame game, actually.
I just think Akers
looks pretty good
now, but
yeah,
I did like Akers, I've got to say, but I'm not averse to having Pierce sitting at the bottom as a 20th pick,
Are they not using Pierce normally for kickoffs? Is Pierce mainly kickoffs and punt returns now, is he not?
This one's all about running backs against wide receivers and who comes out on top. That's what this division's all about at the moment. Because there are 4 teams here that are very, very weak in running back. So again, depends how they finish and who they bring in to finish. Maybe they'll bring in a Rath, like the last 3 picks are all running backs, to give them dart throws, at landing one, which is what I would be doing.
Cool. So we'll go on to
Division 3.
Marwick. This is a team that's got the most picks. They're on
around
18, I think. They're nearly finished around 18.
Wow.
They'll be finished by the weekend.
By the way, we're now up to pick 8.
Let's concentrate down the bottom here to begin with then, Johnny. Let's see who's going in these later on rounds that are... So here you can see we can see that kind of folk that are wanting a second quarterback are now picking them up. You can see. So do me a favour, Johnny. Go and see. Let me see what quarterbacks are still left here. Most have got 2 here now. So what quarterbacks are still left?
Young.
There you go. So McCarthy, right? You don't know if they're going to start or not, but if they're not, then they're back up. The other ones are certainly there. You've got Fields is still there, and I assume whoever's got Wilson. Bryce Young's still there. Wilson and Fields, Carr.
Sam Darnold is the starter at the moment.
Yeah. So look at all the starters that are still sitting there. These guys are going to score you 12, 15 points in a week. They're going to score you 20 plus in a good week. Waste of a bench spot. Anyway. Yeah, Palmer's going very late, don't you think? I mean, that's... I see Damian Pierce has gone here. He's went in the 16th, so...
After Vidal.
Henry Miller. He's going to be such a bust for Pork, isn't he? He threes hat.
Pork's in this one, yeah. We've got Michael Amos in this one as well.
But yeah, so I mean, there are Donnie Mitchell's going this late as well. Who's got that Bluetooth bookie? That's Mark, isn't it?
Yeah.
He went and picked up a Donnie Mitchell. So it's interesting to see who's going later on there, but who's going late. So we've got 2 teams here who took running backs in the first 2 rounds. 2 running backs in the first 2 rounds. We've got 2 teams here, John Boy and Garmo. So they both went running back. So I don't hate either wide receiver room. And it just goes to show, that if you do take your running backs early, you can still fill in your receiver rooms. Olave, Metcalf, I hate Godwin, fair enough, but I always have done. Watson, Johnson, and Williams. I think Williams is going to have his big breakout year this year, I really do. So, he's filled that in very well. And then M. Garmo, he's went Robinson and A-Chain. And then he's got London, Samuel, Kirk, Coleman, and Samuel, who's got a chance of being the number 1 in Buffalo. But if he's not, then Coleman is. Don't like that double down, I guess. But, so it does goes to show that going running back doesn't mean you're going to have a weak wide receiver room if you pick them up kind of, straight away after.
But I think Samuel, I think health is what hurts him because that's the same offense they ran when he was in Carolina. So he's familiar with the offensive coordinator. So he has the advantages whether he can stay healthy or not to play a whole season.
Well, that's it. That's the thing, isn't it? And it's he is kind of one of these guys that drifts in and out of games, isn't he? He's kind of he promises so much, and then he more often than not fails to deliver. For me, that's a big problem, And then he'll go and hit you with a 30-point game, and you'll think, "Oh, got to play him. He's just another Gabe Davis."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. Pork took Michael Parsons mighty early.
That was the first IDP player when Pork took him at 4.2.
And the next one went two rounds later.
No, 4.7. Max Crosby went to 407 to Mark.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, overlooked that one. They should just keep all the IDPs the same color. Because I thought that it looks like a tight end.
I think the problem is obviously when you have different positions, you have different colours, but they do look the same.
You can play the positions as well for them. We're in a dynasty.
Kicker and linebacker is the same as well. Linebacker and kicker are the same colour.
He got Ferguson, McConkey.
Yes, yeah, so, I'm just Herbert. Spread my eyes over here. There's a couple of teams that are kind of light at running back again as well. The two who went, ironically, the two who went running back, first round, second round, have then only followed up with one running back. If they get more than that down, keep going down a bit, will you, Johnny? Sorry, I see the ball again there.
John Boy.
Vidal and Pierce went there.
And then
Chandler's
Pierce and Chandler.
But yeah, it's not exactly. It's not, it's so the two went running back. I mean, you plug them in there and they're your starters, and the only thing you need to worry about them is injury or bye week, So I get that, but I feel like you need the running backs because they get injured more than anybody else as well, and you can plug the play in the ID and the flex spots.
Well, Kelly's got Jonathan Taylor, then he's got Trey Benson and Jalen Wright, so he's basically got one starting running back. So he's going to.
I like Reynolds in the 1-5 with Lamb, Williams, Cook, Collins, Cooper, Pollard, Thomas, and Singletary. I like what he did there.
I like Williams and Cook in those 2 rounds. He's got Williams and Cook very, very, very late there for me.
Yeah,
so, 2 great picks, and then Collins in the 4th. Yeah, absolutely. Cooper, Pollard. What are we thinking on Brian Thomas? Is he going to be something special? Is he going to be that good? Is he going to be another Calvin Ridley? Is he going to be as good as?
He does look pretty good in the highlights I saw, but I don't know.
I've not really seen much about him. I don't tend to pay much attention to the Panthers. The Jaguars, sorry.
I think Thomas will be. I think he'll be shocking a lot of people. I have a good buddy of mine's a Jags fan. He keeps telling me, I started watching videos because of him, and a lot of the people are big on him, talking about he could be the new number 1 in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard kind of good words being said coming out of Jacksonville for him, from what I have seen, but it's just not one that's been on my radar. It's not one that I've really had on my radar, which is very unlike me, but. It's nice to know other people's opinions. And I mean, did Pork going to run this down? Johnny, please tell me Pork Belly took Kendry Miller in here. He did not. He did not take Kendry Miller. No, he's there. He's away. But Grote took him. That does not surprise me that Grote took him.
Oh God. What is Pork doing? He's got Parsons, Anderson, Jones, Derwin James, and Jesse Bates.
It's a lot. Why have you get 2 DBs? It's a lot of defense. Yeah, I
That's a
mean,
lot to have when
when
you
you've
see.
got Parsons,
I took 3 just because I didn't want to make the same mistake from last year. So I picked 1 a little early and then 2 late, and then that's it. That's who I'm gonna run with those unless somebody gets hurt or somebody else spikes. But
yeah, I
there's
mean,
enough. There's
as I
enough
say,
on the waiver wire. Like if you pick up a DB, I mean, he could have got Jesse Bates off the waivers to cover a week if need be, or something like that.
100%. As I say, it's a position that I'll play with through the season in agency, so I don't overly worry about, unless I'm going to get one of the superstars early on. I don't overly worry about who I'm going to get there because I know I'm going to play with it.
Did
And I
he
know
take
there's
a pick?
guys in
Did he take
agency
a
that score
kicker in the
well.
16th?
15-11, he put Brandon Aubrey, but then Justin Tucker went 2 picks before. Actually, Harrison Butker went 14-7 to Mark.
Pork, what are you doing, Pork? We need to talk about this on Monday.
Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm going to go out on a limb and hang my hat on the fact that Pork ain't going to win this division. Sorry, Pork.
So that one's going to have to be a short, that one. But yeah.
Oh, man.
Was it? Yes. He did say something on Monday, but I can't remember what he said. So he's got Ferguson as tight end, but then he's got Likely.
He must be a Cowboys fan. Is he a Cowboys fan?
He is a Cowboys fan, yeah.
Oh, that's what happened.
So he's got Ferguson, Prescott, Aubrey, and Parsons.
It makes sense. I see it. And Ferguson, yeah. Okay.
A couple other.
I'm a Giants fan, and I have 0 Giants on my team.
Me too. I don't think I've got any on my team either, to be honest. But I usually pick up Wandy Robinson.
You will have by the end of the draft, Johnny. You always sneak your wee sneaky giant in at the back end when you think no one's looking.
While we were chatting, I did pick up Wilson, the wide receiver from Arizona, in my 18.6 pick. Is it Mark Williams? Wilson.
Michael Wilson, yeah.
Michael Wilson, yeah. I picked up him in the 18.6. Because he had a good couple of games last year.
He has potential. He has potential. He has potential to be good.
When he got the targets last year, he did fine at the end, so hopefully he'll carry on.
When Murray was back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good end zone target. Obviously, I love Harrison for that now, but if he gets double teamed and all that, they might open up more space for Wilson.
I think Wilson will do. Yeah, I mean, as I say, I love Murray for this year, so it's all about that line protecting him. If the line can protect him, I think he'll have a great season, and in turn, that'll mean that the wide receivers will have a great season as well, all of them.
Oh yeah.
In relation to where they're being drafted from, I think they're all potential. They've got potential up to where they're being drafted because of the quarterback. Next, Johnny. Let's go and look at the last one.
The last division. That'll be Dwarfistain.
Dwarfistain.
They were catching up. They get caught in the turn a couple of times, but they're up to 11-10. They're up to. So.
I mean, they're over halfway now. They're on the way. I'm guessing that there's a few spread eagled round the world here, and Sean's on. I see Sean's. Sean's in this one. Flembots. How's he started?
Yes.
Holland Gibbs, love the start, Sean.
Nice receivers,
Mahomes and
young ones, young receivers. Flowers Pickens worth in the country.
What's he doing in the 8th round? I mean, 9th round. Sorry, you could have got Manfield in the 18th round, man.
He's actually been pretty early in him. I don't know why, but yeah, Elliott and Eckler. He's got.
He started off good. Hall, Gibbs, Mahomes, Pitts, Flowers, Pickens, Worthy, McConkey.
And then he goes and picks up one.
DB. Yeah, that's. But Elliott.
But then you got to remember this.
Don't hate Elliott or Eckler either.
No.
Suarez Powell's only got one running back so far. That I can see that being an issue.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah.
And it's Chris Brown.
I really see that being an issue. So they're still.
Yeah.
They've got 4 still there.
Oh yeah, 4.
Henry Miller's still there.
J.K. Dobbins, but yeah, but you're having to start one of these guys that are still there. You know, they're not back up. That's
the boss.
weekly starters you're looking for. So I'd be a bit worried there if I was Suarez Power only having one running back. Ads only having two, and it being Harrison and Spears. Nick Tactics has only got two, but at least it's Connor and Williams. It's kind of two that you can plug in and you're relatively happy with. But this one's just too early. You know, there's not a whole lot's went on so far, other than people not
Parsons, Crosby, and Bosa.
Yeah,
that's leaving too much out there. I like Postley's team: Barkley, Taylor, Pittman, Metcalf, Mixon, Cooper. He grabbed Watts. I like Chubb for if he's 70% of what he can be coming back from injury. That's a good pick. And then I like Hollywood Brown in Kansas City.
The thing about Chubb is, see, this year, Chubb could win you your division. Chubb could win you your league, your fantasy league this year, because he's going to miss the start of the season, obviously. So he is going to be, when he comes in, he's going to take a couple of games to blow the rust off. And if he does come back and he's the Chubb of old, that's like a new player. That's like a new player getting plugged into your team, and he could carry you to the title at the back end of the season. There's no doubt in it.
Well, look at Scott Wolf. I like his running backs: Etienne, and Cook, and White. CeeDee Lamb, good start, but then he's got 3 rookie wide receivers.
Yeah,
but he's got 3 good.
He got 3 good ones.
Very early to be going.
One's a Giants player, though. Come on, I don't know about that.
Do you know what the thing about that team is for me? That team, the ceiling of that team is huge.
Yeah.
But the floor is very low. You know, that's like a skyscraper. I try to build a bungalow, you know, where it's kind of nice and even, and that, you know, that's kind of what, and maybe the odd kind of one that's got a big ceiling and low floor, but that's like a skyscraper, that one with the ceiling's so high, but so's the floor.
I like what Lemony Fresh is doing too.
Yeah, that's Brian. He's bringing
from the first pick. Need to see some running backs be filled in, but yeah, it's a good start. Very good start.
Jack in the 110. That's Jack in the 110 is Mark in Division 2's son. He joined this year after somebody left. So he started tight end.
And he still filled it out pretty good. You know, Porter, Kelsey, Jackson, Debo, Kamara, Walker. Pez will be happy with that pick. McLaurin, Keenan Allen, Jonathan Brooks would be great for when he comes back from injury or off the pup list. Christian Watson, solid. Corum is going to get touches because they don't want to run Williams into the ground. That's a good start too there.
So that's a pretty good team for him.
They say he didn't have a running back to the 5th round. To have Kamara and Walker to be plugged in as your 1 and 2. That's a very good 1 and 2 when you've not picked one up in the first 4 rounds. That's a very good one.
Walker's generally going in the 4th round, getting him in the 6th of steel, like.
Absolutely. So, and that's what you look for. You know, when I always try and look, I'm looking to draft players at the floor rather than, you know, I want to draft players where they're at a spot where that's the minimum amount of points that they're going to score the guys sitting around them, and their ceiling is way high. You know, their ceiling is rounds higher. That's the kind of guys that you're looking for. That's the kind of guys I want to find. And getting Kyle Walker, it's not Kyle Walker, is it? Getting Walker in the 6th round is exactly that. That's his absolute floor. He will score more than Swift, Jones, Connor, you know, White, Warren, Harris, Williams, Montgomery, Chubb, Stevenson, all those ones that are going behind him. Walker is a level ahead of them, you know. So to be picking him up just in front of those guys, that's huge to me. That's really picking up a floor player.
I like team 3, with Tyreek Hill, Henry, London, Evans, Richardson, Jones, Kirk, Warren, Mostert, Singletary, and then Nick Bolton. That's a nice start too.
This is the other newcomer that joined. So.
I like a team that's got a lot of running backs, I have to say. I like a team that goes running back heavy. it's just the way I've always played the game, and I know that the game's changing, and I know that it's getting more. Your running backs are your day to day. Your banger four that gets you at your work every day, and then your wide receivers are your Ferrari that sits in the garage for the weekends. So I get that. I get that now. The game is changing, but I still like a good heavy running back team. I really do.
Definitely.
And there are a couple here. But this one's not even kind of. It's only just halfway through, so it really starts now. Everyone's picking superstars at the moment. Let's see how they do when we get down to the nitty gritty.
Yep. So that's all the divisions.
And,
do you want to have a quick look at the ADP for the first 10 rounds?
Yeah, you can do, and you'll be able to see that 16 quarterbacks have been picked. Only 16 quarterbacks have been picked.
So there's the 16 quarterbacks. Can you see that? Okay, right. There you go.
Yeah, there's 16. That's all that's been picked. 16 quarterbacks. Is that when they've been picked, Johnny? That you're putting in there?
Yeah, that's the positions have been picked, and that's the average score. That's 1.92. So it's like still in the first round or second round, third round, fourth round, average fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th. So look at Jared Goff popped in 2 and 10. So.
Actually been picked up. And Jared Goff wouldn't have. Oh no, yeah, 10 rounds. You said you went through 10 rounds, so that's fine. Yeah. I mean, so you can see where they're going. There's Dak Prescott going at 4:10. That's got to, flag out to, hey, what's going on?
Obviously that'll change when his average will change once you get these ones in here in the 11th, 12th, 13th rounds. His average will go further down.
It's going to be a lot higher. But
just shows you that obviously the number one quarterback.
It's interesting to look at that, and you can kind of see who's going. So when you go into running backs, you'll see some wild differences between where guys are going. I would imagine, some of them anyway. So
you got Jamar Gibbs is usually at the end of the first round. In a second.
There you go. You've got Aaron Jones wavering between Aaron Jones wavering between the 4th and the 8th. James Conner between the 6th and the 8th, the 601, 801. And it's
somebody took Swift in the 3rd.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just not on board. As I say, he's very much a vanilla running back. I'm sure he'll do fine, but he will not be in any of my teams this year. He just won't.
So there's been 41 running backs picked in the first 4 rounds.
41 running backs been taken. I mean, J.K. Dobbins is just going so late. If he does end up coming back and being, he's been taken once in the first 10 rounds. If he does end up being anything like he was supposed to be at Baltimore, he's absolute steals for players as well. Mm-hmm. Of course, his floor is his injuries.
There's your wide receivers. Chase is the 3rd.
Marvin Harrison.
That's not going to change.
Marvin Harrison went in the 2nd round every single week.
I know, it's crazy.
He's went as running back 9. He is a running back 9 this year. Wide receiver 9. He's a wide receiver 9 in ADP this year. That blows my mind that he's a rookie and he's going into a team like Arizona. And I know that the offense is better than it looks, but you're into a team that was drafting him that early because they were terrible last year.
Neighbours is 16.
Neighbours 16. Same, absolute exact same comments. Brandon Ayuk 15. He's went between 207 and 407. So he's went 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And every person at Scotland must be sweating buckets right now.
Nico Collins, a 201 and a 505.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Nico Collins.
Big swing there.
We got Cooper
Cup,
Pickens
all taken by the
505.
I mean, it's interesting to see, isn't it? Their Cooper Cup 203 is where they should be getting taken, and then someone's getting them in the 505. So that's.
I think I got them in the 501.
It's interesting to see where people are going.
Tight ends. Well, there's been 58 wide receivers picked in the first 10 rounds.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
18 tight ends
picked. When there's 32 teams, there's not a tight end from every team taken yet, not miles away from
No kickers. And we have
no kickers. Of course, it's only 10 rounds.
26 IDP players in the first 10 rounds.
It's like when you look at like Quincy Williams, they're taking it to 802, and then he's not been taken in the top 10 rounds anywhere else, you know. Why are you taking him in 802? You know, you can get him and, you know, double digits.
No, that one's there. Cut. Well, Spotty Creek.
What's that?
25 players.
Oh, you don't, are you sure? Because remember, there's 2 Williamses in New York.
The other one's Leonard. Yeah, not.
I mean, their Max Crosby went in the 407, and there's still 4 rounds, 4 leagues that haven't taken him in the in 10. It's just, yeah. I mean, there you go. It just shows the difference that, you know, Mika as well, 402, and he's not taken in the 10. You know, there's 4 leagues that haven't taken him in the top 10. Big waivers across it, you know, and some of these guys will make a big difference to the league, you know, and the defenders are important. There's 2 of them that plug into your team, so they do make a big difference. And if you've got guys that are scoring 20 points a week, then you're on a winner. My thing is, I reckon you can find them in agency as opposed to drafting one of the top guys really early. That's how I want to go try and go about it, you know, picking up week by week.
There goes. So Marvin Harron's 18th overall in the IDP.
Yeah, overall doesn't
mean everybody.
You know, you got to go by position. Position's all that matters. Yeah, he was literally drafted in the 2nd round every single league in OrkneyBowl.
Yeah,
that freaks me out. So it does.
It was crazy when I seen them all come in. Like when I get all the spreadsheets up and all that.
See if he finishes the wide receiver 9 this year, then, you know, well done everyone who drafted him in the 2nd round. You got your money's worth. Congratulations, you know.
Yeah.
But I just think you're taking a massive swing at it. And does anyone really think he could be a top 5 wide receiver this year? I guess he could.
No.
I mean, it helps having Kyler Murray. I mean, he's in the perfect position. He landed on the right team to try to reach those expectations everyone has of him.
Yeah, but to be in the top 5, somebody has to be injured.
That was the best team he could have landed on.
Yeah, because I mean, you got a good quarterback in Murray. I mean, Connor is an amazing running back when he's healthy. You can look at his last 6 games last year, 22 plus points each game. And then you got McBride at tight end, so
he's a number 1 receiver as well. He's alpha from day 1. So yeah, I mean it could be, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying in. I'm not buying it. I think he's going to do fine. I think he's going to do great, but I'm not buying into top 5 receiver. I'm not in his rookie season. I just think there's too many others that will do very well as well.
Oh, yeah, wide receivers, that's a deep position. There's just a lot out there. You know what I mean? But
very much so.
But between, like, let's say a wide receiver 1 and like they had Amon-Ra, St. Brown has a high end wide receiver 2. I'm like, he's a wide receiver 1 all day long. I don't care how you break down the tiers. It's just there's you have that upper tier. There's at least 12 of them that's up there. You know what I mean? Like Chase, Jefferson, Lamb, Brown.
Wide receiver 1 is in a 12-team league. Would he be picked in the first 12? You know, if it's a 16-team league, it's a 16. Wide receiver 1 is first wide receiver. You know, first one plugged in. So wide receiver, 12. You're looking at 12 being wide receiver 1 for OrkneyBowl. You know, there's 12 wide receiver 1s and then there's 12 wide receiver 2s. And for me, you know, I mean, yeah, it could very much be in there. I just don't see it. I just think there'll be, as you say, Everett. There's just too many others. You've got Jefferson, Chase, Lamb. These guys are kind of locked into being up there, you know. Yeah. So who are you pushing out? What one's he pushing out? You know, and there's so many fighting for it that could land in there. I mean, you've got to. I mean, see if you look down at DJ Moore could end up being a top 5 wide receiver this year. He has the ability to do so. Yeah. It's all about what production he's going to get to, and that's kind of someone who's not even talked about in that kind of upper tier discussion, you know. So
yeah, but that's another offense that not worries me as far as how they play, but as being a fantasy manager, there's a lot of mouths to feed on that Bears offense. Kind of like the same thing in Houston with the Texans, the same thing.
Packers are the same. The Packers are the same. Honestly,
Oh,
we don't
yeah,
have a
Watson,
number one for
Reed,
me.
and Dobbs. Yeah,
Watson, Reed, Dobbs, and Wicks. By the way, Wicks. Let's not forget Wicks.
Yeah.
Two decent tight ends there as well. There's no alpha. There's no number one. You know, it's kind of who's going to be the number. But that's my problem with picking from these teams as well. You know, it's I try to stay away from our wide receiver room at the moment because I just think the ball's going to get spread about too much. In Chicago, you're going to have that problem as well. But at the same time, Keenan Allen could go out and get injured, and DJ Moore does become alpha.
Yeah,
and the guy that he's thrown to constantly.
And then Aroudn, they can get more targets.
You know, it's so you never know. But yeah, it'll be good to get these. That's us, what, a week and a half, 10 days we've been drafting now, Johnny, and we're pretty.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well.
Everyone's through 50. You know, everyone bar one's through 15 rounds, and that one's through well over halfway. So hopefully this time next week the next week's podcast will be the draft deciders, and we can start looking at the teams and start seeing how we think
the matchup
divisions will patch out, shall we say?
Yes. Well, there'll be at least, I reckon, next Wednesday, at least half of them will be done, I think, if not more.
I don't think they'll all be done. There's your target, guys. Try and get the drafts finished by next Wednesday so we can discuss them properly.
Cool.
Do a recap of how we did with our team for sure.
Because I'm not being funny, but if you don't, all you're going to get is me rattling on about not picking two quarterbacks again for for 2 hours. So
hey, I remember you saying that last year. And I was, I'm watching you guys. I'm looking at my team, and I went 3 quarterbacks by the end of it, which worked out because Deshaun Watson got hurt; he was out for the year. But I had Goff and Derek Carr, and I just used Derek Carr to cover Goff's bye week. So I got lucky by doing it that way. But
but you did
different strategy this year.
You did take Deshaun Watson, but so if you're taking Deshaun Watson, you had load up with quarterbacks as well because it is Deshaun Watson.
I thought he'd have I thought it'd be like a comeback year for him, but I know not to get him this year.
I think he's gone. To be honest, I think he's gone. I think he's done. I don't even think he's interested anymore. He's got his money. What does he care? That's what it looks like to me for Deshaun Watson. You've got linebackers and you've got offensive linemen going out there with broken bones. And Deshaun Watson cuts his fingernail, so he'll sit out this week. It just doesn't go. It's not a good look for me. But anyway,
you got somebody like Joe Burrow who tried to throw with the bad wrist.
Watson he looks done to me. It looks like he's just there for a paycheck now. But shall we wrap this up before we hit the 2-hour mark?
Yeah, it's been a good show.
Gentlemen.
Thank you for coming on.
Good to hear. Thank you, everyone.
One that knows what they're doing is insight, apart from just me and Craig. But thank you for coming on, Everett.
Thank you, Everett. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
All right.